Thanks for joining us. I'm joined by Nick South of SoTellUs. If you watch any of our content, you're aware I'm constantly harping on reviews and getting reviews and why it is so necessary, especially in 2026. If you've watched that same content, you've probably heard me mention the company SoTellUs, kind of as a tool for enabling you to get more reviews, have some control over those reviews. And so I reached out to Nick and said, "Hey, would you come on and kind of give me a pitch, tell me about the product?" These types of tools are sometimes what we need to kind of get our butts in gear on. We know we need to do this thing, which is get reviews. Everybody hates asking for reviews. So maybe there's a better way, and I think Sotellus is a great solution to that. So, Nick, take it away. Tell us what we need to know about SoTellUs.
Absolutely. I appreciate the introduction. So basically what Sotellus is you know, a big thing about us is our most common thing that everybody knows us for is our software called Sotellus. So Sotellus is a kind of all-in-one system for capturing reviews and leveraging them. So there's three parts to it. I'll actually show this little graphic I've got pulled up that perfectly explains how the system works. So this thing here we call the growth formula. This is the structure and flow of how the Sotellus system operates. So everything starts with your reputation. So number one is making sure every single customer gets to leave a review. Now, this part's important because most businesses, they will keep customers in a box where they only give them a singular option. They might just ask for a review on Google or just ask for a review on Yelp, so on and so forth. The
Mhm.
problem is that a lot of your clients that you run into might not have these platforms. Just as an example, only 53% of the United States actually has a Gmail account. So there's a chance statistically that one in two of your customers couldn't even leave you a Google review, even if they wanted to. With our system is we make sure everybody gets to leave one no matter what, and it needs to be simple and fast. Now, the other part of our system as well is making sure we help identify fans, happy clients, and we also identify who's a detractor. So, especially, in the restoration field, for example, John, I know me and you have talked about this, but next thing maybe you did a job, everything went pretty well, and next thing you know, you go to ask the customer for a review, and the customer's pissed off at the insurance company. Okay.
Right.
Mad because it's not covering the cost. They're in this constant fight back and forth, and they take it out on the restoration company because they're just not aware. They don't know that there's not really a connection. They don't know that, the restoration company is just as annoyed as the customer. So
Yeah.
I think that's very important to be able to identify that and also protect the business from that because, I mean, you could do a job 100 times perfectly, and there's going to be one person that's upset. And it's always great to get that feedback for internal purposes, but also protect yourself externally online, especially if it's a review that's just not actually reflecting the company. And then there's different types of reviews. So everybody knows written reviews. That's the Googles, the Facebooks, etc. But cool thing with us, we're the only verified video review system on planet Earth that Google acknowledges. So we can, as we kind of go into stuff, we'll discuss the differences on how these reviews affect you differently online. And so the second part of our system is the marketing. So getting reviews, like for us especially, we're the leading capture rate in the industry of an average of 40%. Okay, average, if you look across the industry standard, is 5 to 10. And there's multiple reasons. The biggest one is most people just send emails, and if they follow up, it's typically just by email. We
Mhm.
do text and email and multiple follow-ups for both. So getting the reviews is easy, but the problem is that if you just go and get a bunch of reviews, but nobody ever gets to see them, right? It's not really benefiting the company.
Right.
Right. So we focus on the marketing of the reviews directly. So taking them and making sure people do see them on your websites, your socials, the search engine inside of Google, on as about 8 to 10 different places, anywhere that we could possibly think of. So now the third part is actually helping capture leads too. So that's where really everything starts from. Okay, everybody, whether you're doing marketing, whether you're doing reviews, it really doesn't matter. Ads, the purpose is to bring new clients in the door. So,
Yep.
and especially if you're running ads, this does help a ton with actually helping optimize by converting them by, well, there's five ways. So one is referral based, so it's a different thing. So we ask every client that gives a review to just click a single button and just refer you to all their friends and family. But the other four ways is organic. So as the company does get found more, whether that's through organic or marketing or whatever, there's going to be call to actions in place. So there's going to be call to action on the site, inside the search engine URLs, on the Google listing. So the whole point in the system is to get reviews, get found, and then also get those new leads in the door. Um, I'll show a quick little example of just how our system works so people can kind of get a
Okay.
little gist of it, a little feel. Um, so there's two ways of getting reviews with our system. Okay, so everybody knows sending out the invites as we just mentioned. One thing very unique to us that our service-based businesses really do love is that a lot of them capture reviews on site. So something really easy is you get to download our app for free and you get unlimited users and you can literally pull the app up on site with the client and get a review right then and there. Okay. And anybody who's looking at this and like, oh, I'm too shy, I'm not going to ask for a review. That's, don't worry about it. That's something that our coaches help take care of and stuff too. But basically, if you want to get a review in person, you can just pull our app up and choose the review you want. So, like if you wanted a video, you click the button, you'd put that customer's first name, last initial, phone or email for verification, and you just get a 5 star and press record. Okay. So this is a fantastic way for a lot of companies, especially if you're not creating video content right now. This
Right.
is a very easy way to get some amazing video content. Because that's another thing. A lot of people are not going to go and, try to go and edit all their videos or, don't know exactly what to create in a video. A lot of times they just start recording and, not really sure what to post. It
Right.
just takes up all this additional time, right? And so with this is great because there's really no better content than social proof. Okay, showing that you are reputable, that you are trustworthy, and that you do have happy people that you've worked with.
Yeah, I call it the public needs affirmation of internet strangers before they buy. So
Yep, that's how it used to, it used to be back in the day, a friend or a family member told you, and that
yeah,
was a reputation. That's all you needed.
yeah,
Nowadays it's a little bit different. Majority of people will end up looking at reviews before they make a decision for sure.
absolutely.
Now, the other aspect is taking care of those past clients that, most people don't get reviews from. Um, or a lot of times, some people finish a job or they don't ask the client in person. Maybe it slips their mind, whatever the case is. What we can do is we send out text and email invites to the client. Now, the customer, we can either integrate to the CRM and have this automated. They can give us a list of clients or just send it manually. Um, so maybe you asked a client for a review in person and, maybe they were busy, maybe they weren't there. You can just pull the app up, click send invite and send it yourself. Or again, we just take care of this for you. But when you send an invite, the client's going to get two things. They'll get the text message and they're going to get an email and it is customized and branded. So it does look like it comes from the business, the logo's embedded. Obviously, the messaging is customizable, but there's also a video that you can have in there. I always recommend doing the video because it's far more personable and
Hmm.
it's been shown to increase the conversion rate. I mean, if it's, the business owner themselves saying, "Hey, this is John over here with XYZ Restoration. We just want to say we appreciate your business and give us the opportunity. If you wouldn't mind clicking the link below and leaving a review, it'd mean a lot to our business." Right? And then all the business owner has to do, or all the client rather, has to do is click on a button. Now from here, they just get to choose basically what reviews and they want to leave. So you can have any options from Google, Facebook, etc. Um, you know, and obviously we can help filtering with happy clients and not. If you only want 4 or 5 stars, we could take care of that too. But basically they go and they choose an option like Google. We actually log them into their account for them, and all they have to do is write it out. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super simple because you're trying to ask somebody to go do this later, right? And number one is they have to remember this, which, I mean, let's be real, in today's world, that's we're not remembering to leave a review 30 minutes
Right,
down the road, right? When we got 3 kids in the car that are like, "I need to do this, oh, we gotta stop by here," and wife's calling, and next thing you know, it's like this isn't even top 50 priorities right now.
right.
So other cool part is if they don't give it right away, cool. Our system's going to do that follow up. So it's going to follow up with them, again, day later, 2 days later, and then 5 days later, just to make sure they leave it. Now, the other good part is like we talked about, not everybody has a Google, Facebook, etc. So with our system, if they don't have anything at all, okay, they're still able to write a review or do a video.
Okay.
Okay, so if they wanted to click all review here, they leave the same thing, I love your company, right? Now, once the review is left, it's going to be marketed across multiple different places, but we also ask that client to share that review. And we're getting them to share a review and they can share a call to action along with it, which could just be, fill out this form. And we want to get referrals from it. So they could share this on any socials they have, text message, email, and it's the same thing of clicking a button and creating the post and everything for them to share, right? Only difference is that this has all their branding and everything.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm. And then from there, it's just making sure that we get these reviews found. Okay, so things like for example, I'll show this I'll show this widget really quick. So there's a widget that goes onto the site to display all their social proof and happy clients. The widgets are customizable, so it fits the color schemes and everything. And we also put a call to action on the site like this that follows the client around the website. Okay.
Okay.
And I know you being in marketing, you understand, right? The average person's only on a site for around 60 seconds.
Right.
Right. So we want to make sure that in that time that they are there, we do have something that is incentivizing and something that stays in sight and in mind the entire time that they're on there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Smart.
yeah, because just want to help with the conversions. Again, if we drive a bunch of new people there and nobody converts, we're not really doing that much. Um, now, the other part is you get what's called a public page. So a public page is it's a subdomain. So it's a mini website we basically create for the business that has all their information, gallery, reviews, chats, etc. And our clients do all kinds of things with these. They put them in their, newsletters, their emails, their marketing. But the main reason we create them is to run search engine optimization. So what we do is we give every single review its own landing page inside of Google, and then we actually backlink the reviews to the website through the widget.
Okay.
And this helps a lot with the or the website's SEO. And if you're already running SEO, that's great. It just amplifies it so it doesn't compete.
Right. 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 Yeah. It acts as another citation for the brand. Yeah. It's very smart, and it's been interesting. We've put out a couple videos on what really is happening with AI and how it's impacting search and paid ads and things like that. We have a client right now. We were on a 90-day agreement with him. He just renewed last week. This is a brand new site. This is a franchise, so he has a page on the corporate domain, brand new socials. And our plan over 90 days was just a content blitz. So a post every day, Facebook and Instagram, 4 videos per week on YouTube. And what is so interesting is that by month 2, he's showing an AI results. So while Google's AI summary page changes on a almost daily basis,
Yeah.
it's very interesting to see. And this is a very, very niche industry that he's in, not in restoration. Um, but to see him show up by month 2, I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? Because he's getting reviews. We did that, kind of trickled reviews in the first several weeks where it's, like more character reviews, because he's the owner and operator. But it's things like this, the fear of AI, and I've been kind of hyperbolic about, there's a lot of fear mongering on Facebook, especially about what AI is doing, what it's like the sky is falling type thing. And it's really not. AI is a great aggregator of information. Google is using in search, their AI is just a summary. Well, what is the summary summarizing? It's summarizing who's already got, long age of domains, people that already had good SEO, people who are spending money with Google Ads, and people who have good reviews, right? So it's looking at all that information, and it's displaying based on what you've been doing for years already. So what we've been preaching for so long is, consistency, do everything, do it consistently, and get good reviews. And so for the companies that have been doing that consistently over the past several years, they are showing up in these AI summary screens. And then apparently a new company can come in and really hit it the right way on social media platforms and appear kind of out of nowhere on the AI summary. Okay, a couple questions before we wrap up. Is there any time where a company should be incentivizing employees to ask for reviews and end users, the client themselves, a Starbucks gift card? Is there a time where they should be incentivizing that?
So two different ones. So I'll start with the team first. So incentivizing your team to get the reviews will absolutely directly correlate in you getting more reviews, guaranteed.
Hmm.
I've got an HVAC client called Five Guys out here in Arizona, and what they did is he wanted to get Googles and videos. So what he did is he told his guys, "Hey, you get a $10 bonus for every Google, but you get a $20 bonus for every video." So
Smart.
he had a guy that was getting an extra 1,200 bucks a month. So
That's
he was
cool.
paying his money's worth. It was pretty funny. So it would absolutely incentivize your guys to make sure they're getting reviews. And not only that, though, it will incentivize them to even have to give even better service, right? To
Yep.
be more professional because they know, the chances of me getting a good review is going to obviously reflect on how I presented the company as I've been here the whole time. So
Right.
it's going to also, it's going to benefit the company in multiple ways. Now, the second part, incentivizing for the reviews. So I will let you know, of course, there's people that do this. The reality is that you're not supposed to incentivize for a review. Okay, it's against FTC guidelines. Now, here's the cool thing about what our system does is just like I showed you with the referral, right? After they give a review, they can click share that review on all these different places, right? And they can share with the call to action. It is not against any form of regulations to incentivize for referral. It's actually encouraged. So we kill two birds with one stone with our system. So you don't want to incentivize for the review, but you can absolutely incentivize for a referral, right?
Okay.
So I would take it as like, hey, if you give us a review really quick, even if you're not using our system, but let's just say you go and you post about us, right? You take the review that you left and you share it onto your social media or something, and then we'll give you that $10, $20 Starbucks gift card, right? Something like that. That would be the way to do it. And again, you're
Okay.
killing two birds with one stone there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking there's an optometrist that I go to, and for a long time, right next to the credit card machine, they had earn a $25 gift card for your 5-star review. And I just thought, wow, that's bold. Let's see how it plays out for him. I was just there 2 weeks ago. I did not see that sign, but it was there for years. Anyway, okay, I know we've got to run. One last question. Um, why are some service companies, and especially I found with owners, why are they scared to ask for a review, in your opinion?
So because it's really weird. A lot of people say, "Oh, my clients won't like this. Oh, they won't do this or that." And it's so funny because of course, those same people who end up using our service and we are asking for reviews on their behalf. The customer just thinks it comes from the business.
Mhm.
You're getting hundreds and thousands of reviews. People, if you do a good job, nobody is upset with you asking for feedback. Nobody. Nobody's going to be upset about you saying, "Hey, would you mind giving us a review on the job we've done today?" Right? Especially if you're doing a great job, nobody's going to care to tell
Right.
you how good of a job you've done. I think people look at it from the business owner perspective, not the consumer perspective. That's the problem. They're looking
Okay.
at it like, "Oh, I'm going to bug them." But if you looked at it from a consumer, "Oh, this guy, just if let's say your restoration, I couldn't live in my house. My house is now livable. Of course, I'm going to be happier. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I want to give you a 5 star telling you guys you were, you know, very professional, on time every day, and you guys knocked this out quicker than I thought. I thought it was going to be a 2 month thing, and you guys got this done in a week and a half, or whatever the case
Yeah.
is. No, the consumer does not mind. And just, I tell business owner, I ask them, have you ever been annoyed when somebody asked you for a review? And the answer is 99% no. No,
That's
not for me.
true. That's true. That's a good question. Yeah, it's almost like selling out of your own wallet. It's a common mistake young salespeople make. This thing's too expensive, so I'm not going to ask. And I think that's the same thing. It's the same thought process with owners. I really appreciate your time, Nick. It was very, very informative. I've learned some stuff, and I've been aware of the brand and the products for years. So thank you again. How can people get a hold of you? And let's quickly talk
Yeah.
about the webinar that we want to do.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we're going to have a webinar together and I'm going to make it very educational. So, it's going to be around the growth formula. We're going to call it 7 strategies to grow your business with reviews and referrals. So, I will actually, teach everybody on this webinar exactly how to capture these reviews, even with what they currently have right now. How to capture the reviews, how to leverage the reviews, how to leverage their client social media and how to start converting more and not and to stop missing out on leads.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, and obviously, if you want more information directly from us, I have some for you that you can drop for them. Otherwise, you can go to the website, of course, and schedule a meeting there. But I would say for sure, jump on this webinar. I've always, from the times I've done this, people give amazing feedback. They love the input. And then I do show a little bit more of what our system does and just
Okay.
kind of how it can help with those things and automate that process for them at a price that's actually affordable.
Yeah, and that's the last thing I'll say. What you do is not stupidly expensive. I know, especially in the restoration industry, everybody and their brother has a software company now. SoTellUs has been around for a long time. It's
1998.
priced, yeah, it's super reasonable for what you're getting. It is not trying to be anything that it's not. Like it's a very straightforward, this is what it does. And in this current state of affairs with the restoration industry specifically, and I would say there's some bleed over to the service industry as a whole, because we're seeing plumbers have some of the same problems that our restorers are.
100%.
This is the time. Like this is something that you have to do as an owner operator. It's just you can't just wait for the phone to ring anymore. It's not ringing like it used to. Won't always be that way, but we are in it right now. So, Nick, again, I appreciate the time. We will market that webinar. I want to get some folks in there so we can get some feedback as we go. But that'll be super informative. And thanks for doing that for us.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me on, John.
All right. Thanks.